Hey, what's going on guys? Jake here again, and today I have an unboxing and some benchmark results of the EVGA Superclocked GeForce GTX 970. Now this is actually going to be the first of two of these cards. The other one is going to be coming in another few weeks, in which case I'm going to have these in SLI in my build. So currently I'm running some benchmarks with the 760s and SLI to see how they will compare against one of these. So if we go ahead and cut to the intro, we'll go ahead and get started on unboxing this thing. Alrighty, so the first order of business, of course, is we have the outside of the box. We have 4 gigs of GDDR5 on this model. Of course, we are on the Maxwell technology, so we have all the good stuff now. We have 1664 CUDA cores, 4 gigs of that GDDR5, 256-bit memory bus. Oh my goodness. Oh, we have dynamic super resolution, NVIDIA Game Stream, G-Sync ready. Oh my gosh. GPU Boost 2.0, all that good stuff. We have a double BIOS on here for cooling. That actually means that one BIOS has a setting that you can flip on to have the fans automatically kick on at 60 degrees and stay off until then and stay passively cooled, or the other BIOS has the fans running all the time and of course ramp up when under load. Now of course I'm going to probably keep it on all the time, but I'm not entirely sure. This card has 4K freaking support for one thing, which is amazing. We have a core clock of 1216 megahertz. Of course, this is the superclocked version, so it's ramped up a little bit more than the usual. And of course, what would be any GTX card without a backplate? So, I have that right here, and that's what we'll be throwing on as soon as we get done with this portion of the video. So I'm going to go and take that away. I'm going to grab my knife. We'll go ahead and go on the outside. So first off, you can see it's 26% cooler, 36% quieter, 250% lower fan power, and 400% increased fan lifespan because of ACX 2.0. So the fan is redesigned. There are 11 blades instead of 9 on each fan. Not only that, but the other good thing is that they're quieter and they are swept fan blades for better airflow and for better noise levels. Go ahead and get this out of the packaging. Poke. There we go. Game Stream, GameWorks, G-Sync, DirectX 12 support, which is the most important thing ever. Here's that ACX 2.0 right here on the side. Go ahead and take this out just for a minute here. We don't need that anymore. Go ahead and put that off to the side. Here's the box, ACX 2.0. Go ahead and flip over to the back. We, of course, have NVIDIA Dynamic Super Resolution, GameWorks technology, G-Sync ready, NVIDIA Shield ready, DirectX 12, GPU Boost 2.0, Adaptive VSync, NVIDIA Surround, support for 4 displays with DisplayPort, HDMI, and 2 DVIs. And of course, inside we have the GTX 970 card, 1 DVI to VGA adapter, and 2 6-pin PCI power adapters, a user guide, and an accessory pack. We'll go ahead and crack this baby open here. I know for a fact that it does come with a poster that of course is usually massive, like EVGA always sends them, because they're seriously stupid big posters. There we go. I didn't want to be too rude with it. There we go. What do we have? Go ahead and pull it out this way and get everything in one foul sweep. So there's the poster right on top, and I'll go ahead and put the box off to the side. Here's the poster. What's the poster one? You guys aren't going to be able to see it, but I'll be able to see it. Stand by for ownage. I'm not entirely sure what it is. It almost looks like a Titan, but almost not really. So that's actually not a bad poster. I kind of like it, but I don't have any room. In my room. Alrighty, we have a graphics card user guide right here, as per usual. All that good stuff on how to install it in your system. We have a disc with a case badge, although I already have a case badge, so I don't need it. And put that off to the side. Little thing about ACX 2.0, all the things we saw on the side, on that side of the box. We reduce fan noise, more airflow to the heatsink, less friction between components, 3-phase 6-slot motor design, more silicon steel, enhanced magnet strength so we can boost that fan RPM. Go ahead and put that off to the side. Evga GeForce GTX 960 series. Simple. And of course, we have another notice about how they will not turn on until they're needed to cool the card, the fans, so they won't turn on until about 60 to 65 C. And of course, you can change that at this website here. And then of course, as usual, we have stickers, which aren't different from the ones I currently have, just different graphic. So go ahead and put those off to the side. Here is that DVI to VGA adapter we talked about. Here are the two adapters. This card runs off of two 6-pin power connectors, so these are Molex to 6-pin. Obviously I'm not going to be using them, but hey, they're nice to have in the package. And here we go with the actual card. Damn, look at that. That is a work of art, man. EVGA knows what they are doing. I mean, of course, so does NVIDIA, but EVGA knows. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic off the top here. That's only one section of the plastic, because there's more plastic up here. I really like this blue up here as well. I think that's going to match the build quite well. Not that you're going to be able to see it, but you will be able to see the blue on the top right here. Go ahead and get this. One more. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 more, because the one's on the fans. Get this one. These are such a pain. Oh, there we go. And the ones on top of the fans, you can see. Very, very obvious. There's one. And there's 2. And the rest, we just have a rubber connector right here on the bottom, as well as DVI, DisplayPort, and HDMI plugs. On the back, we have a pretty matte black PCB. We can see we have 4 memory modules right here. This card, of course, has that 4 gigs of GDDR5 we talked about. It has a 7010 effective clock, which is going to be awesome. There we go. Looks pretty sleek. All right. Now, it does look a little different than I thought it would. I thought it would have a little bit more of an open shroud, so you would be able to see the heat stack there, although I guess not on this particular model. Not that I have a problem with that, it's perfectly fine. We have the 2 6-pin power connectors here, and of course on the top we have 2 SLI fingers for 3-way SLI compatibility. Unless it's 4-way, it very could be 4-way, but I'm pretty sure it goes up to 3 without a doubt. So, that's the unboxing of the GTX 970. Sorry. You done? Okay. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and install this in the system after these benchmarks are finished running. And then we're going to go ahead and do some comparisons on how this one card performs to 2 GTX 760s from the older series. I'll be right back in a few minutes. Alright guys, so here we are. We have one 970 in the system right now, obviously. Don't worry, that light, those lights on that fan aren't really flashing. The camera just makes it look like that. We have that one 970 right there. It's all in, it's booted up. The fans are going right now. I'm running a benchmark. Not entirely sure what the temperature is. I can go ahead and check real quick. Let's see. Running at a temperature about 72 degrees, which is what I wanted to set it to in Precision X. So it's running 100% power limit, at the same time a limit on the temperature to about 72 degrees, so the fans kick up until it stays at 72 degrees, or until it hits there and then it stays. So I'm running some benchmarks right now. This one's going to be over in 2 more scenes, and you guys are going to be blown away by only one of the results. I don't know about the rest, but one of them will blow you away. So we'll be back in just a minute. Alright guys, so the last benchmark I'm going to be doing is some Titanfall. I'm just going to see how it runs because for some reason the 760s always had a little bit of trouble, and I never really enjoyed it too much, so I'm just going to get into a different game here real quick, different type of game called Frontier Defense. I have a video up on this on my channel. Just going to see how it runs. Unfortunately, I have noticed that there was a little coil whine. As soon as I installed the card, I went to my Windows Experience Index and I refreshed the rating because it said it needed to be refreshed due to new hardware detected, aka the 970, obviously. Now, for whatever reason, as soon as it started running that assessment, the fans wouldn't even need to kick on because it's not showing anything on screen being produced as an image. But as soon as I hit run, I was afraid of this, and I heard this was going to happen, and I researched it ahead of time. As soon as I hit that button, I started getting some pretty irritating coil whine from the 970. Now, you wouldn't think it was that bad. It wasn't too loud, but it was definitely noticeable. Obviously I didn't have a side panel on the case, so that could cause a little bit of a dampening issue, or help me out in terms of dampening when I put it back on. I haven't heard it since then, maybe a little bit, but it's not very noticeable. Because most of the time when I play, I have music on anyway. So we're starting here in just a second here. And then the other thing I noticed is that it's possible to get coil whine if your GPU is outputting more FPS that's higher than the refresh rate of your monitor. So right now, obviously, it goes down in between 59 and 60, whatever. So right there, you might be able to hear a little bit of coil whine. Right now, we're just going to see how this runs. Worst case scenario, if it does persist very loudly, I'll turn VSync on. Wow, runs super smooth right now. Look at this. Alright, so right now we're running 130 FPS, which is just about the average of the 760 SLI, which is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and do a test with satchels. Still solid FPS right there. Now if I turn VSync on... Oh, it's already on. That's right. See, Titanfall has a very weird setting, so if your FPS in-game is on, in Titanfall, doesn't work for a ton of other games. If your FPS is on, if your VSync is on in Titanfall, and it's off in your NVIDIA control panel, then you have an unlimited FPS. Okay, so right now, I'm still getting some mild coil whine, because I'm running a little bit higher than the monitor's refresh rate. It's not too unbearable. It's not as bad as when I was running that 3D rate, the rating test. Definitely not as bad. But regardless, you can still kind of hear some whining, and it's not the greatest thing to hear to the ears. It's really not. You can go ahead and just take out all these bastards. This is basically a horde mode. You guys can find unboxing of this on my channel. Friggin' specters, man. Oh, hey, select the new loadout. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and start off with the GTX970 SLI benchmarks. Now I did these first before the, obviously the, the 970. Wow, I can't speak. So, here we go, the GTX 760 SLI. The first test I did was 3D Mark Firestrike. The highest score I've been able to achieve on 3D Mark Firestrike has been 10,440, as you can see right there. Now, the physics score was pretty high, or more, the graphics score was higher than the physics score, but wow, that was an accomplishment right there to get it up to 10,000, considering I was only able to hit 9,000 with SLI. Now that's kind of sad because one card got up to about 6,000 at one point before I did SLI with them. Now I did the Valley benchmark by Unigen as well. I did this and the Heaven benchmark on Ultra presets for the 760 SLI and the 970. Now for the Valley and the Ultra preset, we got a score of 3,977, FPS 95, a minimum of 37.6, a max of 179.8. That's pretty freaking good for SLI. Now, that didn't have any screen tear, no VSync, nothing like that. Unlimited frame rates, just shot through the roof, obviously. Now I go down to the Heaven benchmark, again at the Ultra preset. We got a score of 1,866, an FPS of 72.5, a minimum of 31.4, and a max of 137.3. So, of course, the Valley benchmark definitely gets a little bit up there. Little bit of a difference between the scores. Of course, they both score differently, so it's no problem. And then the next one I did was Cinebench OpenGL. Now that was 80.03 FPS. Of course, OpenGL is OpenGL, but it still goes off of whatever you have in your PCI lanes. And the last one I did was Furmark, and I ran that for about 10 minutes, in which case I got an average of 79, a minimum of 34. As soon as it starts off, it really cuts it down, and then it ranks back up, and a max of 84 FPS. Now, of course, then I went down to the 970. Now, 3D Mark Firestrike with the 760's SLI got a score of 10,440. One GTX970, the one that's in the system right now, got a score of 10,000 even. I'll even pull that up on my browser for you guys. It's ridiculous. Check this out. 10,000 with one GTX 970 and the 4790K. Graphics score of 11,597, physics score of 12,112, combined score 4,359, 10,000 even. Better than 93% of all results. But regardless, oh my god. That means that if I overclock this card more than it's already overclocked, and then once I get the other 760, this will be unlimited power. Just unlimited power. Gonna get a super, super high score in 3D Mark, especially if I overclock the other one more, and the other one's definitely gonna be another super clocked as well. And at the same time, we never went higher than about 72 degrees Celsius, which is exactly what I set it to be in EVGA Precision right here. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the rest of the benchmarks. So then in Valley, if we can focus, on the Ultra preset, we got a score of 3,455, an FPS of 82.6, a minimum of 36.6, and a max of 154.7. That's pretty good scaling. Compared to the SLI, the Ultra preset in Valley, a max of 154 comes pretty close to 179. The minimum is 1 FPS lower than the SLI for the 760s. The score is only about, 522 points lower, and the FPS is not much lower at all, which is amazing. The Heaven benchmark on the Ultra preset, which has more scenes, got a score of 1866 with the SLI, 72.5 FPS, minimum 31, max 137, and with the 970 we got 1750 on the score, 69.5, very close to that FPS, minimum 32.1, so 1 FPS higher on the minimum than the SLI, and a max of 129, which is only 8 FPS below the SLI, which is really, really good. The Cinebench OpenGL got a score of 84.77, so yes, we did get 5 more FPS in that run. Not that it's important, because the OpenGL and Cinebench is only maybe 20 seconds long, if that. And Furmark, we got a max of
67 FPS, a minimum 64, and an average of 66. Now, of course, I did not manage to do tests of the 1760 individually because it would take a lot more time. Basically, imagine all of these scores cut in half with 1760. They are so obsolete compared to some things nowadays that you can't really do a ton about it. So that's pretty much it for the benchmarks. I did that Titanfall, you guys will see, and my bird is going crazy in the background. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. This is going to be on an unboxing playlist on my channel, so go ahead and go there if you guys would like to. And for the most part, again, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Give me any comments and feedback you'd like to down below. I did not go over the 3.5 gig RAM issue because you only experience that issue if you're running very, very high textures, in which case you'll go above the 3.5 gigs of usage. Right now I'm not worried about that at all because in most games you'll only hit to about 2.5 or so. So on and so forth. But we do have 4 gigs of RAM available, 3.5 available technically, and then with the other 0.5 available just at a slower speed, and that's kind of the point that's quote-unquote unaccessed. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe again, and I will see you guys next time with the other SLI tests for the GTX 970s. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.